The Lord of the Rings: Return of the King is a timeless classic and is viewed as an amazing literary work by both readers and critics. But what if this classic had a much deeper and darker theme? Return of the King had many different people challenge the book in a variety of different angles. Return of the King should be banned for three reasons. Firstly, the extreme violence that takes place. Secondly, the segregation between the races. And finally, the act and theme of witchcraft. Firstly, The Lord of the Rings: Return of the King is a book that mainly focuses on the acts of violence and war. Most objectives in the book are for power, or a way to make another army fall. The overall plan of the Fellowship was for Frodo to destroy the ring and weaken the armies of Mordor. The reason why Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli go into the mountain is to gain warriors for the Battle of Gondor. This may be good for the survival of mankind, but it still shows the theme of war and violence. When Frodo is captured by the orcs and brought to a tower in Mordor, Sam finds that he's been tortured and is about to be killed. Luckily, Sam was able to rescue Frodo from the tower and move farther into the heart of Mordor. It is not just the themes of war and violence, it's the way Tolkien describes the violence. During the battle for Gondor, when Merry stabs the Witch King, it describes it as, "The king let out a blood-curdling scream, as Eowyn drives the blade of her sword between the crown and the mantle." Return of the King is able to capture the loss and destruction of battle when it states, "Shapeless they now lay on the ground, torn and tumbled," and a cry went into the shuttling air, and faded to a shrivel, wailing, passing with the wind. A voiceless body that thinned and died, and was swallowed up, never to be heard again in the age of the world. Overall, Return of the King should be banned or censored because of violence and war. Secondly, the concept of segregation between races is used within the Return of the King. Lord Elrond does not want his elven daughter to marry a human Aragorn. This is mainly not allowed because many elves do not like humans. The race conflict between the races of man and elf cannot be compared to the conflict of the elves and the dwarves. The conflict has started in the book The Hobbit, but the hate has carried over to Return of the King. To summarize, the hate between the two races started over a pact between land owned by the elves and the dwarves, and the elves not helping to protect it. The dwarves despise the elves for not coming to their aid, and they cause high tensions or fights when in close vicinities. Themes and values from Tolkien's life may reflect on the book, as he was born in 1892, where segregation happened and many of the races were looked down upon. Overall, Return of the King should be banned or censored because of themes of unequal races and segregation. Lastly, the final concept of witchcraft was present in the Return of the King. The first form of witchcraft was in the armies of Sauron. Sauron was able to use both the Witch King as a weapon, along with the ring. The Witch King was able to use spells and curses to kill many men and make a flame sword that eventually breaks Gandalf's staff. The second form of witchcraft that Sauron used was the ring. The ring had possessive powers that were able to control mortals, had the power to turn the wearer invisible, and direct evil to location. If Sauron was able to gain enough power, he would resurrect himself again using witchcraft. Witchcraft does not only occur in evil things. Gandalf is one of the main protagonists of the series, and he is a master of witchcraft and magic. He's able to use many spells mainly for the purposes of good. Along with Gandalf are four other wizards that are supposed to suppress darkness and evil, but one of those wizards, Saruman, has fallen to the evil and died early in the book. Overall, Return of the King should be banned or censored because of witchcraft. Lord of the Rings: Return of the King should become a banned book because of the three reasons: excessive violence, segregation between races, and witchcraft.